So today is November 29th, 2017. We've finally gotten the numbers from Grace Harbor County on our assessed value, and I wanted to take a chance to update the 2018 property tax levy and just show you what it will look like for 2018. First of all, looking at 2017, we've talked before, there's 7 different agencies that play a part in your property tax levy. So when you write that big check every year, each of those get a different share of that dollar. So the state takes approximately 13% of that. The school district takes about 45%. The city takes 22%. The county at 12%. And then those other junior taxing districts of the port, the library, and the hospital each take about 3% of that levy. In 2017, each of those were distributed across the $15.29 levy in the city of Aberdeen. So, for example, the school district has, I think, 3 levies in there that pay approximately $6.93. The city has 2 levies. I'll talk about that in a little bit. The state has just their 1 basic levy, as well as the county and those other 3 junior taxing districts as well. So again, the total is $15.29 per thousand of assessed value. So if you had a $100,000 property in the city of Aberdeen, you would have paid $1,529 to the county on that property tax bill. So again, this translates pretty simply into you'd pay $700 to the school district, and I try to tell people to take a look at the value you get for that tax dollar when you pay it. So when you're paying that school district, you're paying for, again, the future generations of education. You're paying for hopefully a cure for cancer maybe, and then also those other employees that are going to pay for our Social Security when we retire. The city, again, you're paying $329. You get a police force 24 hours a day. You get a fire response within 5 minutes every time you call. You're going to get a park system. You're going to get a building department here at the city that you can come to, essentially 8 hours a day to get building instructions. So again, the state, you're paying $200 to them to use essentially their state highway system to have the state patrol. The county, you're paying $180 to the county for, again, a county road system. They've got a superior court up there and then some other infrastructure running county government. And those other 3 junior taxing districts are pretty minimal, but again, you're paying $50 a year for the rights to, for some value for that as well. So again, especially think of the library. Each of us pays $40 a year for the opportunity to have a library, for example. So again, as far as our city levy, it was a total of $329. $3.20 of that levy is our regular levy, which goes directly to our general fund. It's our second largest source of revenue. And then we also have a refunding levy in there of 9 cents a thousand. And that paid for the refinancing of a fire truck and some improvements to Fry Creek approximately 10 years ago. So again, I mentioned that that's our largest source of revenue in the general fund, second largest, which is $2.8 million that levy brings in. And again, that funds our basic services. The refunding levy pays the debt service on that loan at about $78,000 a year. And again, if you had that $100,000 property, you would have paid $320 directly to our general fund and about $9 on that debt service. So again, that total of $329. Now, what I like to do is compare us to other agencies around us. So we've got levy comparisons for 2017 for District 10, which is essentially Wishkah, Hoquiam across Myrtle Street, Ocean Shores at the beach, and then Cosmopolis. And you can see we're all right around that $15 a thousand, except for Ocean Shores. And again, we're all providing basically the same level of service. If you were to look at the county, the big difference there is that they've got a county government and a road fund versus our general city levy. But again, consider the value at that county level. You're not going to get a response time within 5 minutes. You're probably not going to get a parks system as robust as ours. So there are some differences and with where you live. But also look at Ocean Shore. So it's very low compared to the others, and I'll show you on the next slide why that is. The fact that your assessed value plays a part in this is the big key there. So they've got about $1 billion in assessed value, which is higher than the city of Aberdeen. And again, when you're providing services to a population about the quarter the size, there's really not that need to have a rate high enough to justify that as well. So the big one there is the red, which is the school district. So you can see they've got about a quarter of the population providing the same services at essentially the same value as us, so it makes sense that their rate is quite a bit lower. So the assessed value does play a key in that as well. So last year, I showed you this before, we ran through our calculations of the 101% of what we got last year, put in our new construction from 2016, and we all computed these numbers. So you can see the total there was $5,997 per thousand for those 4 agencies. I mentioned before, last year the maximum you can levy is $5.90. So something's got to give here, and what happens is, as a pension levy, that's the first one to get cut in these instances to keep us under the $5.90. Now, since the county and the library were not levying at their maximum, the city can take some of that junior taxing district authority that got us to $3.20. So you can see that's where we were last year. This is called apportionment. So what that means is we were not able to levy our maximum, and we're essentially cut from that and had reduced revenue as a result. So in 18, you heard me talk about before, we need 2% growth in assessed value to get out of apportionment. So we actually had 3% growth last year. So when you factor that in with our new construction of $2.6 million last year, taking our 101%, we calculate that out, and we're going to have a levy rate of $3.13 per thousand. So other agencies, you can see we're all under the $5.90. Totaling us together is $5.735. So the good news is we're out of apportionment in 2018. We've had 2 years of that, and it is really hindering our ability to provide services because it generates less revenue for us. So maximums at $5.90. We're all under that. We're going to be able to levy our initial request. So that's good news for those 4 agents. So taking a look at 2018 versus 2017, it's going to come down a little bit. And next slide, how that is, it's going to drop from about $3.20 to about $3.13 a thousand. So that average $100,000 property is going to save about $7.10 over what they paid last year in property taxes. And we mentioned at the presentation last time that it's going to depend on your initial situation whether you pay more. If your property went from $100,000 to $103,000, you're probably going to pay about the same. If it went up less than that, you'll probably save some money, or you could pay a little bit more. But in the aggregate, the $100,000 property, if it stays at $100,000, is going to pay about $7 a year less in property taxes. City of Aberdeen. So just to summarize really quickly, we did approve the ordinance on November 8th that took our 1%, which we're authorized by law to do. New construction in 2017 of $2.8 million. That's a nice number to have. And then we're in the 8th year of our refunding levy. We've got 2 years to go on that with a principal balance of $155,000. So we've got some thoughts. We're going to talk to the council over the next couple of years about perhaps renewing that. And you can see there's going to be a slight tax decrease to that average $100,000 property. So with that, I'd be glad to answer any questions you may have and look forward to this next budget year.